Hi everyone, welcome. This is Gem 314 Tarot. I hope I find everyone well. Thank you for returning and hello if you're new. This is a big one. It's a long one. It's an important one. I have been putting it off and then I was reminded the other day of how big and important this is. Saturn has gone retrograde. It went retrograde on June 30th. I wasn't going to address it, but here we are. This is going to be a long one. There are 6 cards from the Tarot of the Divine, which is the mythology and folklore deck, and I do go into what each card means. So there's going to be storytelling, there's going to be lots of notes and a lot of me talking about astrology and symbolism and stuff. So let's start at the beginning. Saturn went retrograde in Pisces on June 30th. What does that mean? Well, Saturn is the taskmaster and it's the zodiac's strictest teacher, and he's the dealer of karma. He gives us boundaries, obstacles, and limitations, but also the dedication, focus, and steadfastness to overcome them. He has been putting the sign of Pisces through the crucible since November of last year. This has been a very difficult year of dredging up old dogma and doctrine from the depths of religion and spiritualism. It's making us study deeply the difference between dogma, principles, and delusion versus progress, altruism, unconditional love, and the veracity of of gospel. Okay, deep intuition, deep spiritual understanding is covered by Pisces. It's possible that Christ was a Pisces, or at least born in the age of Pisces. There is a difference. Um, and those two theories were put forth as a reason why one of Christianity's symbols is the fish. But this period of time has the reaper dragging his scythe through the heart of those very teachings that have been reigning doctrine for the last 2,000 years. And not everyone is accepting of it, okay? We see this playing out in politics, education, laws, and social structures right now. Some of us want to progress and be more inclusive, more accepting, more understanding, listen deeper, and draw others into the light. But another thing Saturn rules is dogmatic tradition, things once embraced out of love that have now tightened around our necks and become bondage. It is the status quo fighting to remain the ruling canon, okay? Pisces is a very sensitive sign, prone to visions and dreams, enlightened thought processes. Evolved evolved principles. But in this harsh, crushing, demanding chains of Saturn, those evolved, high minded religious commands that are meant to liberate are used to hinder, silence, deprive, and punish. Okay? Saturn represents old guard rules, instructions, and laws, and the delicate fish that is Pisces is now caught in those chains, like a whale caught in old netting. It's eventually will be so restricted in their movements that they won't be able to swim enough to breathe. The fish will drown. A victim of bindings that had no natural business in its depths, but found their way down to him from fishermen who allowed themselves to become careless with the tools they used to fish. Saturn is the patriarchy, plain and simple, the degraded church. Saturn's card in the tarot isn't the devil for no reason. Pisces is illuminated. Pisces is illuminated dreams, joyful revelations, an inspired discernment, and it's being strangled and is becoming delusion, fanaticism, zealotry, even more fearful extremism, and exclusionary. That is the harsh education that Saturn is putting us through. Previously, Saturn dragged its scythe through Aquarius, back and forth for about 2.5 to 3 years. It was dredging up old dogma regarding how we treat large groups of people. Sound familiar? Aquarius is the lofty minded, unconventional humanitarian. Saturn wanted us to learn lessons about how we treat those different from us. The eccentric ones, the aliens, the weirdos, the freethinkers, the oddballs, the queer ones with no labels, and the people who are worthy of equality simply because they are people. Saturn in Aquarius wanted us to overcome restrictive dogma pertaining to how we treat the other, quote unquote. Now he's moved on to our religious foundations, hoping to cut down the old, overgrown weeds of traditional doctrine that was allowed to grow unchecked and now threatens to choke out the whole garden. Unfortunately, the weeds are fighting back. Interestingly, Saturn will be raking us over the coals here until it goes direct again when November 16th, 2024, 10 days after Election Day. That's when the test ends. Let's hope to high heaven that when time is up and we raise our heads and drop our pencils, that we will pass this test. So let's go to the tarot. I laid out, I used the First Light Tarot to do the heart of the matter, and it dropped 4 cards. That's how I knew right from the beginning this was going to be a long one. Now the 4 cards that it dropped, I use this like for cosmic energy because it's all pictures from the Hubble Space Telescope. So it's nebulas and stars and suns and galaxies and things like that. So this to me is cosmic level energy at the heart of this reading. We dropped the Emperor, which is order and logic and stability. Then we dropped Battle, which was a literal fight of good versus evil. And it says, face what terrifies you about good versus evil. And it says, save what you can if you can. And we will go into all this. The next card we dropped was the Lovers, which is union and choice and physical love. Then we dropped Nature, which is get perspective because time is short. It's to see outside of yourself, have flexibility in the face of change. Unbelievable. Unbelievable that these 4 dropped, and it's just so fitting for the energies that are at work. So then when I clarified this with Oda-Mae, it was incredible. On the Emperor, the facilitator of law and order, we dropped the Hermit. Virgo energy. Let's see here. The Emperor and the Hermit. This is pausing, retreating, and shining light down on and gaining a higher perspective on the established traditions of order, structure, stability, logic, and laws. That's the 2 together. I'll read it again. Pausing, that's the Hermit. Retreating and shining light down, that's from his lantern. And gaining a higher perspective on the established traditions of order, structure, stability, logic, and laws. Then the next card we had was Battle. And the clarifier we dropped on Battle was the Emperor. So we have the Emperor and the Hermit, and then Battle and the Emperor in the next 2. This is literally good versus evil. This is the fight we're facing. It's face what terrifies you, save what you can if you can from the established organized statutes, rules, laws, and order. The next one we have is the Lovers, clarified by the 8 of Cups, walking away from something. This year we have the choice to choose love, union, accord, togetherness, relationship, partnership, loving alliances, and we willfully walked away from love. We turn our backs on harmony and mutual service to another. That's one of religion's, especially Christianity's, main tenets. Serve others with love, faith, and generosity. And here we can see with these two cards together, there was a choice to love, and we walked away from it. Okay? So usually the reason for the Eight of Cups, the reason we walk away from those cups is because they weren't quote unquote emotionally fulfilling. So here dropped on the Lovers in this instance with us delving into Saturn retrograde. This means walking away from loving union with others because it wasn't emotionally fulfilling for us. Okay? And I actually don't mean us as the Lightworker Collective. I mean the others, okay? I mean the people who probably aren't going to be watching these videos. But at least those of us who are trying to be better and walk with the light, at least those of us who do hear it will be alert to how it's playing out there, you know? The last card we have was Nature with the nine, clarified with the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, Nature is an interesting one. This is, it was saying go with the flow, see outside yourself, and be flexible with change. It says get perspective because time is short. It really is, especially if we remember that this cycle is going to last for about 5 months, which will bring us to 1 week after the election. And that's about how long we have to learn these lessons and pass this test. So, together with this, it says get perspective, see outside of yourself, time is short, change requires flexibility. If you have plenty, which is what this Nine of Pentacles is, if you have plenty, you're in a position to share. Even if you worked hard to have enough and end up having a little more, share it so that others can have more also. This in no way diminishes your standing, nor does it tarnish your riches. It makes them and you more brilliant because you are called to provide others with equal stability as you have been given. Okay? I love that. So let's continue. Now, this is where we get into the cards that are clarified with the Tarot of the Divine. This is going to be a long one. So the first card we dropped up here in the scene energy was Lynx. This is Nine of Branches again. This has been coming out steady for the past few readings. This is protecting ourselves. This is persistence, digging deep, a final push. This is gathering strength to see it through. Okay, this is maintain boundaries and accept and give kindness. Okay, that was what was very adamant about this card, is to be kind to others. Okay, so this says it's protecting ourselves. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll just do these both together. I won't do one and then the other. We're going to do these together. So we have Lynx, which is Nine of Branches, clarified by the Three of Swords from the Tarot of the Divine. This story is the, what is this? Not a heron, the crane maiden or something like that. Okay, see, Lynx and the Three of Swords. So this is, sorry, protecting ourselves with boundaries, but called to accept and give kindness, something that is being withheld. I'm sorry if I stutter over this. I'm reading from notes that I have a lot of scribbles on them. I didn't rewrite anything because it got so long. So I'm just reading all this through. I'm reading through the scribbles, and we all know I'm a terrible stutterer, so please have patience. Okay, something that is being withheld across the board presently. Oh, kindness. Yeah. It says give and accept kindness, something that's being withheld across the board presently. Digging deep after a battle and preparing for a final push to get to the end, there's been deep betrayal here, resulting in irrevocable harm, heartbreak, and grief. This story is called The Crane Wife, and versions of this tale are found all around the world. She asks her husband for a certain allotment of respect and sets boundaries of privacy. This is also a cautionary tale of distrust, neglect, betrayal, spying, and greed. Okay? So let's read this. A man finds an injured crane and nurses it back to health and releases it. After he releases it, after a few days, a beautiful woman appears at his door and they fall in love and marry. Since they are poor, the wife offers to weave beautiful clothes out of silk to sell, but only if the husband agrees to never watch or spy on her while she's weaving. Their circumstances improve greatly with her selling these wares, and they rise up out of poverty into comfort. But the husband got greedy and wanted more and more, and soon began demanding that his wife weave more and more clothing, while also being blind to her obviously declining health. When her output began to slow, he, against her wishes and against his promise, spies on her and is shocked to discover that when she's working at the loom, it's the crane, and that he. Wait. It's the crane that he saved, plucking her own feathers and using them to weave the beautiful garments at the cost of her own health. He gasps, she looks up in shock and flies away, never to return. So, I mean, this together, first of all, there is betrayal here. Some people are very defensive. Again, the Nine of Wands, or the Nine of Branches here, is defense after a battle. And here we had the battle with the Emperor, okay? This is battling with those um, doctrines, the Emperor, the law and order, the big dog, the one that wants to call the shots, the one that sits on the throne, you know? There's battle between good and evil here. And now here up in the scene energy, Nine of Wands, this is re- I'm sorry, retreat after a battle. Okay, this is the wounded warrior. This is putting up boundaries so that nobody can get them and they won't get hurt. Unfortunately, on top of that is the Three of Swords. That is the heartbreak of this battle. There has been betrayal, there's been lies, there's been greed, there's been spying, there's been distrust, and all that. It's all it was all thrown at this beautiful, loving energy that came through with this crane wife. She was plucking off her own feathers in order to weave beautiful clothing to sell. So, how many of us women and mothers and everything? I mean, we give so much of our bodies to nurture, okay? We our bodies grow another person. All our nourishment goes to growing that thing inside us. When we push it out, we feed it from our bodies. You know, we give so much of our bodies in order to advance or heal or nurture, grow things that we have in our, families. And so often it is at the detriment of our own health. And it's really sad. I see so many stories about women who, first of all, y'all don't know. y'all don't know what our bodies go through from the minute we hit puberty, okay? From the minute we hit puberty. Not only does our body go haywire in order to prepare for being childbearing age, but every guy that walks past us from the moment we're 13 is, they're just trying to use that body. Okay, that's what and we will get more into this because we do go into Lilith in play. But the point is, the feminine here, this is all about the feminine. The feminine here is being misused. And it's not just women, it is the feminine aspect of men also. Remember, please, gender ain't shit. However, this is betrayal, this is fear, greed for what a feminine has put out in order to nurture something. But somebody just wanted more and more and more and ignored that giving more and more was draining the feminine of so much energy that she was getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And all the masculine in her life could see was that her output was waning, and that he was angry that her production was dropping off. Meanwhile ignoring the fact that she was being used to death. Okay? So then that's why he spied on her. That's why he broke his promise. He broke his promise because it wasn't as much as he wanted. He got greedy. So he decided to look in on her and figure out why the hell her production was dropping off. And that's when he saw that she is actually the crane that he saved before, coming back to show gratitude, but he just asked for more and more and more. And because of that, he lost her. Okay? Now, after that, we drew, this is still in the scene energy. We've got Knight of Pentacles in reverse as the llama, and the Five of Cups, another cup of suffering, okay? Knight of Pentacles and Five of Cups. So the Knight of Pentacles is in the upright. He's protective, alert, and tolerant. He's reliable, steady, and helpful. But this energy is in the reverse, meaning he is careless and neglectful. He's intolerant, unreliable, inflexible, and untrustworthy, causing our next card, the Five of Cups. This is the story of La Llorona, the crying woman. In the myth, a mother either allows or causes through jealousy, sorrow, or anger the death of her children. Okay? And she's forced to mourn them forever. Usually, again, in response to the treatment of a man who lied or neglected or betrayed her. This is a cautionary tale of how grief can break someone and condemn them to more suffering. In the case of the Five of Cups, where there are lost, in the case of these Five of Cups, where there are lost and mourned, two still stand behind her, a testament to the promise of forgiveness, reconnection, and love if she can just look up from her heartbreaking actions, renounce them, and purify herself from her mistakes. She's got love there, but she's caught in mourning. She's caught in grief. She's caught in guilt. This is so prevalent a myth that there are stories of Lloronas from all over the world that are thousands of years old. And that's a testament to how long grief can bind a soul. Okay, especially something. So look, she's coming from this defensive position. She was betrayed. So there was heartbreak. Then she, with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, this is an absolute reversal of tolerance and reliability. This is inflexibility, untrustworthiness, and that causes the Five of Cups, which is regret and grief. In the next ones, we've got Temperance, which is swan energy, and the 10 of swords. Okay. Finally, with temperance, we have the arrival of angelic assistance. Spirit has been called into the healing and learning process. It comes in when the waters need purifying and renewal. It is with it's with a higher vibration. Oh, I'm so sorry. It is a higher vibration of the magician. Okay? Where the magician uses the first and purest form of the ingredients, temperance takes those magical components after they are contaminated. It cleanses them, remixes them, and infuses the components with wisdom, compassion, and health. It's a representative of the Holy Spirit, and the red string around the neck in the shape of a fish is a forceful reminder that all of us belong to the Holy Spirit. The red string represents the twin flame soulmate, the true other half of our own souls. In the end, our souls are one with each other and with Spirit. And when we abuse others, we forsake our own holiness and betray our connection to quote unquote God, the spark from which we all come. Okay? That's temperance. On top of temperance, we drop the 10 of swords. I don't know if you can see the picture. I will explain it. The 10 of swords is the story of Sedna, an Inuit myth from Upper Canada and Greenland. She is a sea goddess and is depicted as a mermaid or a seal. She is another feminine protagonist done wrong by men. There are variations, but the repeating elements here are that she was tricked or given in marriage to a husband who lied about who he was, saying that he was a great hunter and could provide a good life, only to reveal on their wedding night that he was actually a bird and he couldn't hunt. One day her father comes to visit, finds out that the husband lied and that she wasn't being taken care of, and then decided to rescue her. Once they were out to sea, though, their kayak gets rocked by the bird husband's friends. That's what some of the variations talk about. Like, he, I think, killed the husband who was a bird. Again, a lot of bird symbolism, and I will kind of get into that. Again, the husband was a bird, and he was killed by the father of the girl who came to rescue her. And then when they fled, the husband's bird friends decided to pursue, and then they like were dive bombing the boat and were causing waves. So the father was fearful, and in his fear and sense of self-preservation, he threw her overboard. Okay, he threw her into the freezing sea to appease the waters so that they would spare him. In her desperation, she tried to pull herself back into the boat, only to have her father take an axe and chop off her fingers, and then push her off the boat to sink down into the waves. Her fingers became seals and walruses, and she became the ruler of those animals in the cold, deep waters. So, I mean, come on, right? This is like, with temperance here trying to heal, he's trying to heal this betrayal of the feminine. And we will get into why this is so prominent, even though we're talking about Saturn retrograde in Pisces. This story of Sedna, on top of temperance, the beautiful swan of angelic assistance, it's like spirit sees how the feminine has been sacrificed in order for the masculine to feel safe, right? Because that's what the father did. He was afraid of the waves that were rocking his boat, so he threw her in. When she tried to claw back into the safety of the boat, he cut her fingers off so that all she could do was sink. That is what temperance is trying to come in to heal. That is what the swan of the Holy Spirit is trying to alchemize. This healing of what was done to the feminine in order for the masculine, in his fearful state of self-preservation, he completely sacrifices everything that was sweet and nurturing and tolerant and good about himself. Okay? In the unseen, here we have the Two of Shells as dolphin and the Hierophant. And the Hierophant appears in the Tarot of the Divine as White Buffalo Woman, another feminine. So this Two of Shells is harmonious partnership, soulmates, mutual support, a choice of a new healthy kindred connection. Through the acceptance of an elevated version of divine teaching and traditions, that's the Hierophant, these aren't the tainted convictions of selfish or hateful canon. This is the purified, back to basics, laws of divine connection, compassion, comfort, and support. White Buffalo Woman she brought the original 7 sacred rites and ceremonies to connect with, serve, and protect Mother Earth, the greatest representative of the divine feminine. Let me read that again. Basics. Okay, back to basics. Laws of divine connection. Compassion, comfort, and support. She brought the original 7 sacred rites, ceremonies to connect with, serve, and protect Mother Earth, the greatest representation of the divine feminine. She's taught how to revere her, heal her, walk with her, and for her. She made us understand that humanity is only whole and near to the Great Spirit when the feminine is remembered, respected, and kept alive. But we have to choose love. That's the 2. The 2 of Cups. 2s are always a choice. We have to choose love. Okay? Next, we have 6 of Fossils as Gorilla and the Empress as the Virgin of Guadalupe, La Señora. Okay, Emperatriz de América, the Empress of America. Okay, the 6 of Fossils in Gorilla is reassurance that there is really, really enough for everyone at the table. There really is enough for everyone. This is a card of equitable distribution of wealth, resources, abundance, and care. Gorilla energy is very communal, family oriented. They care for each other. They comfort and provide for each other. The 6, no one goes without while others have too much. That is the beauty of the 6 because it's equitable. Each gets according to their need, and no one goes without, okay? That's where the gorilla is even more human than people. Did I miss anything? No one goes without while others have too much. That's where the gorilla is more human than people. It's our nature, corrupted as it is, to hoard and allow others to go without while we worship greed and accumulation. The opposite of what White Buffalo Calf Woman as the Hierophant taught us. We have the ability right this moment to completely eradicate any kind of lack, neglect, poverty, or need if we just decided to do it. If we functioned in that energy, we'd be embodying the exalted, uplifted, fully reinstated divine feminine energy as represented by La Señora de Guadalupe, the Empress. She is the ultimate mother, the nurturer, the uplifter, and champion. In Catholicism, she is an avatar of Mary, the mother of Jesus, who in turn was the earthly representation of Mother God, the feminine counterpart to Father God, who was in attendance and participated in the creation. She revealed herself, the Our Lady Guadalupe, She revealed herself to a peasant man named Juan Diego in the 1500s and conversed with him in Nahuatl, his mother language. She identified herself as, quote, Mary, Mother of the Very True Deity, and she asked for a church on the site in her honor. Juan Diego went to the archbishop of the area, and he didn't believe him. And so he went to the archbishop of the area, who didn't believe him and denied his request. She appeared again and told Juan Diego to keep insisting. The archbishop told the man to tell the woman to provide a really for reals miracle, and La Reina agreed, saying it would come in the next day. So the next day brought an obstacle, as Juan Diego's uncle fell ill. But in her fourth appearance to him, she reassured him that his uncle would be fine and encouraged him to continue and go meet with the archbishop. But she told him to pick along the way some Spanish roses that were blooming nearby and carry them in his cloak to the archbishop. So when Juan Diego arrived and told the priest about her fourth appearance, he opened his cloak, the flowers fell to the ground, and on the fabric was an image of the Virgin, which is the most popular image of how you see her like in art and stuff that supposedly comes right from the image that was on the cloak. She reminds us of the importance of walking in faith, loyalty, compassion, and by our hearts. So that is on Gorilla. So she's trying to teach us. Like, I love how this starts. We've got the Three of Swords, which is heartbreak, the Five of Cups, regret, the Ten of Swords, betrayal, and harm, okay? Then we have the Hierophant, which is a very much more elevated, healed, pure energy of the feminine. Then we have the Empress, which is even higher. It's elevating the feminine energy even higher. And then it's so, in this point with Gorilla, she is teaching us that in order to have enough, in order to share with everyone, in order to treat everyone equitably and fairly and balanced and um, making sure everyone has enough at the table or a place at the table and everyone has enough. We must function in the higher vibration of the feminine that brings compassion and understanding. It brings nurturing. It makes you a champion of other people. This is high vibrational stuff. That's why at a certain point, so many people fall off as it's ascending through this beautiful feminine energy. Like, not a lot of people will vibe that high. That's why there are so many that are fighting against this. So the last card we have, the last combination we have here, we've got the Knight of Wands reversed. Oh no, Knight of Wands upright, which is camel energy, and the Eight of Coins, which is hard work, okay? I love the camel energy because, like I said, it's traversing something that's very difficult for most people, but like a camel's bred to do it. Like it'll be hard, it'll be long, and it'll be tiring, but it's not like he's not equipped for this work, right? He is absolutely genetically equipped to be there. There's pyramids like in Egypt. He's in the desert. This is traversing the desert. It says, oh, let's read the back. Energetic, resolute, and valiant, tenacious, tough, and determined. It says, steady your feet on shifting ground. So, through the environment, or I'm sorry, through and though it looks similar, especially with my chicken scratch handwriting. Though the environment is harsh, severe, or arduous, okay, let me try this again. Like I said, these notes are real scribbly. Though the environment is harsh and severe, or the work may be arduous. You're being called to be resolute, valiant, patient, tenacious, and determined to endure. Steady your feet on shifting ground and in shifting times. So that's like, this is on the unseen. Like I said, this is I forgot to reiterate that. The unseen in these spreads, this lower deck row of cards, this is all energy that is being worked with on the down low or worked with in the background. This is where the cosmic energy comes in. This is where time comes in. I often describe it as a boiling pot. The top row in the scene is the bubbles on top of the boiling water, but the bottom row in the unseen is the bubbles that are still on the bottom of the pot. They haven't risen to the top yet. They're still brewing, quote unquote. So in this energy, the divine is working in the background with these two of shells. This is a choice, okay? They're reminding us that we have a choice. We have a choice to follow the Hierophant. Now, usually in most decks, the Hierophant is dogmatic law, okay? He is the Pope. He's the keeper, the preserver, the interpreter, and the teacher of divine law. But it's the patriarchy law. It's the Christian doctrine that has been coming, it's been in power for 2,000 some years. So that's usually what the Hierophant, also, it is spiritual law too. So this is contracts that we have with other souls, with each other, with ourselves. And in order, when we understand that we are all connected with other souls, and that in turn we are all back connected back to the Holy Spirit, the Great Spirit, Source, the universe, whatever you want to call it, God or whatever, it's all one creator energy that we emanated from. And we must remember that in order to elevate as a species, as a people, we must remember that the law was simple. Love deeply, love equitable, be fair, be compassionate, help each other, be kind. That was pretty much it, right? And along the way, we added all of this unnecessary bullshit to the law. Love somebody as you love yourself, until they, I mean, things like that. The separating of the equality of the gender, elevating masculinity above femininity, um, taking away women's rights, taking away autonomy, taking away equality. I mean, this beating down of the nurturing side of feminine energy is the complete disrespect of the feminine half of creation. Okay? And that's why this Saturn retrograde through Pisces is so heavy right now, because it's like he's telling us you should have learned this. Why are you repeating this grade? And because we have to go back and repeat, he is especially harsh this time around. So let's continue with that last set because we do have more to go to. This last combination with the Knight of Wands in the undercurrent, in the unseen, I feel like this is telling us you already are equipped for this. You know this journey, okay? We can get through it. We just have to be persistent. We have to be strong and intrepid, energetic, resolute, valiant, tenacious, determined, patient, patience also. And we have to, where it's saying we have to dig in our feet and steady them on shifting ground right now, especially with this next 5 months leading up to the election. Things are very, very rickety. Things feel very unsteady. Things feel very unsure. Things feel like something can fall out from underneath us at any moment, right? But I think The advice here with this Knight of Wands and this camel energy is we know where to plant our feet. And it's in the true doctrine, the true teachings that um, are elevated through the feminine, especially here with White Buffalo Calf Woman as the Hierophant. She brings a beautiful, I didn't expand on it because I knew this was going to be long as it is, but the seven sacred rites of the White Buffalo Calf Woman, look that up. It's how to conduct ourselves with each other, for each other, and how to connect with the Great Spirit. You know, how to reconnect with the energy of the creator that brought us here. I don't care what your beliefs are. I'm not Christian. I'm none of the Abrahamic religions. I am an unwashed pagan. I am a dirty heathen. I'm a witch. I'm a bruja. I'm whatever you want to call it. But I do know symbolism and mythology, okay? So what the White Buffalo Calf Woman reminds us as her place as the Hierophant is to find the doctrine and the teachings that are inclusive, that are balanced, that are fair, that are nurturing, that are accepting, instead of the ones that are exclusionary, instead of the ones that make you separate from each other, instead of the ones that make you withdraw rights from people because they're other, they're different, they're foreign, they're alien. That's not what the doctrine was trying to teach us in the beginning. That has all been tainted through time. By whom? By the ones who write it, the men. Okay? Whew, I'm hot. I'm hot. Along with the Knight of Wands as the camel, we have, to clarify, the Eight of Pentacles, okay? From the Tarot of the Divine, this is the story of the seven swans. Again, swan energy, I do address it in a minute. The Eight of Pentacles is the tale of the six swans. Did I say seven? I meant six. The six swans. Okay, I'll try to briefly, but it's a long one. This is a German tale about a king who got lost, shocker, and didn't ask for directions. But then when he did, he got directions from a witch who made him promise that she made him promise that in return for her help that he would marry her daughter. He reluctantly agrees, but he gets a suspicious vibe from the new queen and was afraid that she would mistreat his 7 kids that he had from his first wife, so he hides them away in the woods with a good wood witch. Shout out to the good wood witches. He had 6 sons and 1 daughter. Well, the wicked witch / stepmother did find out where the kids were hidden and went to them with 7 cursed shirts. When the boys came running out of their hiding place because they thought that it was their father coming to visit, when the boys ran out, she, the queen, threw the cursed shirts on them and they all turned to swans and flew away. The only one saved was the one princess who didn't come out of the house, so it fell to the princess to free her brothers, and she accepted a most torturous, difficult task. For the next 6 years, she had to work and live without speaking. She had to gather stinging nettles and weave them into 6 shirts, one for each brother. And of course, if she spoke, the spell would be broken and her work would be for nothing. Well, within those 6 years, all kinds of terrible shit happened to her to derail her work. And in some versions, she's married off to another king and she has 3 kids who themselves befall the annoyance of a witch and are stolen away one by one. Meanwhile, she still can't talk and she still is working on all these shirts. In one version, she picked, nettles in a churchyard and then got arrested for being a witch herself. Still, she stayed silent and sewed those damn shirts for dear life, right up until they tied her to a stake and lit it on fire. She sewed stinging nettles. At that moment, her 6 brothers flew overhead, and she threw the shirts up in the air, and the spell was broken. They were returned to human form. Well, mostly. One of the shirts she shorted a sleeve so that her younger brother, when he regained form, he kept a wing instead of an arm. But the spell broke, and she finally was able to speak. Her brothers vouched for her children were released, and everything was happily ever after. Okay? This card, as the Eight of Pentacles, represents dedication in the face of distress. This work isn't the enjoyable hard work of the normal Eight of Pentacles. This is harsh work, almost punishment. The components are painful, our fingers are bleeding, and we have to complete it alone. Another frustrating example of... Oh, I cut that off. Okay. But the second time in this reading that Swan makes an appearance. So I wanted to just summarize this. So we're being reminded that we've been through this lesson before and we fucking got it wrong. Okay? We're still trying to get it right. And we're constantly having to fight back because half of us don't even want to evolve this way. Half of us don't want to do this work. Half of us don't even believe that there's work to do. Okay? So here, this combination is saying, yeah, it's fucking hard. And look at her. She's bloody. She's pissed. And she still has to make these things that hurt her in order to save her brothers. So in this case, whereas all these, the feminines are being betrayed, hurt, and everything, she is still being used. She's still being abused, but this is work that she has chosen to take on in order to save her brothers, which represents the feminine again allowing her own harm and abuse to elevate the masculine energy. Okay? And with the camel here, it's like, you've done this before. You're totally equipped to do this again. It's like, well, yeah, but damn, do we have to? Yeah, we have to because we keep getting it wrong. That's why Saturn is in reverse. Saturn is in retrograde because it's like, oh, you think you're about to graduate? Now, okay, we're going to go back and review and we're going to see everything that you got wrong because the true test is coming. So now we have to review. Okay. The swan symbolism. So we have this card, which is the Eight of Pentacles, the 6 swans, which were her brothers, and we've got Temperance here as the swan. Okay, so let's talk about swan symbolism. Okay. On Temperance here, we've got this is angelic assistance. Spirit is involved in remixing the manifestation. So this says inspiration may change the process, okay? It's like if we allow ourselves to be inspired with angelic truth, it will change the process that we're going through. It will change the path that we're on. It will change the work that we're doing. It will change the very fabric of, like, it'll change the timeline. Like, we're always joking about, haha, this is the worst timeline. It is the definite darkest timeline. Okay, so swan symbolism is angelic presence and assistance in transformation through devotion, loyalty, and personal growth by shedding old ways and accepting new forms of beauty. It's also a symbol of grace, but the term is usually half-heartedly considered and only half understood. When we are called to treat others with grace, it means to treat them with mercy, kindness, courtesy, thoughtfulness, and reprieve. Nearly half the country has forgotten This is how God had commanded us to treat others that we felt were different, with grace, meaning mercy, kindness, courtesy, thoughtfulness, and reprieve. Swans remind us that gentleness can coexist with power within each of us, and indeed the blending of the two is the alchemy that temperance, as the swan, is performing, and also the spiritual lesson that Lilith in Libra is making us learn. So that's why there's so much feminine energy here in regards to Saturn being retrograde in Pisces. Why did so much of this feminine energy? Because some of the lessons, the spiritual, that's the Pisces energy, lessons, that's the Saturn energy, the spiritual lessons that we are being dragged backwards, that's the retrograde, to relearn is how we treat the feminine, but not just the feminine, because it's how we treat those that we feel are other, okay? Not just the feminine. Um, let's see. It says here, Lilith in Libra is opposing Pluto in Aquarius and is making us learn, and it's shown up so prominently in this reading, okay? Every single clarifying card from the Tarot of the Divine deck is a story about the betrayed, broken, abused, sacrificed feminine, with two cards reminding us of the wisdom and authority and miracles that enhance the world when the feminine is revered, respected, and remembered. Those cards being the Lady of Guadalupe and as the Empress, and White Buffalo Woman as the Hierophant. Okay, we're almost done. Incredibly, this symbolism also came up twice. Wait, I'm missing something. Buffalo Woman is the Hierophant. Yeah, no, that's right. Oh, White Buffalo Woman. Okay, so the Hierophant as White Buffalo Calf Woman. Incredibly, this symbol also came up twice. Here, okay, in the Angels and Ancestors deck, we drew the Peacekeeper card, represented by the very White Buffalo Woman from the Hierophant that we had. Let me hold this up. I might want to screen cap that too. Here's the Hierophant as White Buffalo Calf Woman, and here is Peacekeeper holding the peace pipe, representing White Buffalo Calf Woman. Let me get my head out of the way. There we go. See, see. So let's get to that side now. We're gonna do the Angels and Ancestors cards. Anything else I want to say? Drew the Peacekeeper card, represented by the White Buffalo Calf Woman from the Hierophant. One of the 7 ceremonies that she bestows upon humanity was the peace pipe. So now let's move on to the Angels and Ancestors cards. All right, I hope this is resonating for you guys. I hope the messages are reaching you for your highest good. Not all messages will resonate for everyone, so leave what doesn't resonate now, but keep it in mind because it might make sense at a later time. You're all at different points in your timelines. So let's first go through a summary here. This is regarding Saturn retrograde in Pisces. Okay, the old guard pulling back on the religious and spiritual advancement of the fish. Okay, so first we had the Emperor, Law and Order, and we have the Hierophant. The Hermit. The Hermit on the Emperor, which means there is an energy in the middle here. This is the heart of the reading. There is the energy of going higher, okay, going within to gain a higher perspective. There is an underlying voice in the collective saying, hang on a minute, the law and order that I am observing I don't agree with. So I need to withdraw and think about this. I kind of hate it because what's to think about? It's been this way since time immemorial. What are you thinking about? You should have had plenty of lifetimes to figure this out. It's wrong. Okay? It's wrong and it needs adjusting. But the hermit, that's Virgo energy, they take their time. It's very analytical. So I do appreciate that we are now shining a light, that is the hermit's lantern. We are now shining the light on what the emperor has put before us, okay? The next card we had was battle and the emperor on top of it. So yeah, we are in a fight. We're in a battle. This is like a spiritual tug of war. And right on top of it, the old guard, the emperor, the patriarchy himself is trying to keep order. Okay? He's trying to keep the battle the way he wants it. Next to that, we've got the lovers, a union. This is union, matters of the heart. It's a choice to love. And on top of that, we've got the Eight of Cups, which is walking away from the choice, walking away from love, walking away from spiritual connection because it's quote unquote not emotionally fulfilling for me. So I'm just going to give this up and walk away. Um, After that, we've got nature, which is calling us to gain perspective, which is what the hermit is trying to do. Gain perspective, step outside yourself, be flexible. There's change. Um, Time is short. And on top of that, we've got the Nine of Pentacles. It feels like people are really needing to gain some financial stability here. I'm okay with that. I'm Capricorn rising. I am all for financial stability. I do feel like with things coming up that are very much in the balance here, that there has to be some kind of stability going into things. But this is also reminding me that with this Nine of Pentacles here, the baby Empress, we've got the Empress here. It's reminding us of this gorilla energy, which is really interesting because the Nine of Pentacles, again, is called the baby Empress. And here with the Empress card is the Six of Fossils, the gorilla card, which is equal distribution so that no one has more than another. Everybody is taken care of. However, I mean, some can have more than others because their needs might be different, but everything is fair. Okay? It's not that you can't have more or somebody will not have less. Everyone has according to their needs. Needs. All the needs are met. Okay. And there are some people who would have more dire needs than others, but it doesn't make anybody's needs more important. It makes everybody equal. And with this Nine of Pentacles and this Six of Pentacles, we're being reminded that we already have enough to share. It's just we've forgotten the command to do so. We didn't even forget. We're just choosing to walk away from it. Eight of Cups, because, oh, that's not emotionally fulfilling for me to choose with the lovers, choose love and share it. Okay? So let's go now to the tarot of the, oh, I'm sorry. Angels and ancestors. Okay. Ugh. So, like I said, if you're vibing with my content, please take a moment to leave a like, leave a comment, share it so the algorithm can get it seen, and subscribe. Also, if you check in the description, you will find down at the bottom, you'll find my email. You can contact me through my email. We can discuss having a short personal one question read, or I can do a one question birth chart inquiry. Okay. Probably either one, probably like 15, 20 bucks. I haven't decided. You'll also find links in the description to my Venmo and my Cash App. I appreciate any and all support. Any donation helps the channel keep going, keep growing. I can get new decks. I can get a different tablecloth. I can pay my phone bill. Please support. This is what I'm trying to do as as a life, my work, right? Okay. Anyways, I appreciate any and all interaction and feedback and donations. So let's go here to the ancestors and angels. The first one we dropped was the High Priestess. It says harness mystical power. Oh, the High Priestess. That could be. Oh, so the Hierophant is also called the High Priest, and the High Priestess is the other side of that. Harness mystical power. Align with the light and focus on all things positive. Okay? Says you are a mystic with the capacity to connect with energies that go beyond the human senses. Within you is a force of magic that is directed by your will. There is an opportunity for you to rise up at this time, but it requires dedication and discipline. You are being guided to look at what you are working on or at the situation before you and determine where your priorities lie. If you are unable to figure that out, you must use your intuition and discernment to focus on what will bring you closer to your goal and the happiness of everyone involved. When this card arrives, it's also important for you to check in with your intuition, as it will give you guidance that will be important for your growth. Okay? This is all about our growth as a people. The next card we dropped was the Fire Guardian. Ignite your passion. It says connect with your desires. The sparks could lead to something beautiful. It says you are being guided by your angels to connect with the powerful energy of desire at this time. If you have recently set an intention to explore your sexy side or become more sexually open, the fire of desire can burn away any old setbacks that are preventing you from expressing that part of your nature. If you're in a relationship, this card can indicate a great spiritual and sexual connection. So that's one thing that we kind of glossed over because we were so involved with the feminine side of things. But when Saturn was going through Aquarius, this is where we were talking about like other kind of energies, the oddballs, the queer people without labels. The Fire Guardian is saying that as a part of this liberation, excuse me, that the feminine is fighting for with Lilith and Libra, part of the liberation that she's fighting for is like sexual expression, gender expression. There are no boundaries that are outside of God's creation. So all people should be accepted, protected, and connected with. I feel like this is saying if we just allow that fiery sexual side of ourselves to come into the light so that we can explore it and respect it and express it, that will elevate people out of that kind of oppression. Okay, now we get to the last card I saved for last, Peacekeeper, as White Buffalo Calf Woman. It says let go of the need to be right. This is what we're finding a lot with the two sides, the liberals and the conservatives fighting right now, is that the conservatives have themselves become the corrupted doctrine that they feared the devil would bring into the world. And all this whole reading is trying to remind us to get back to the basics. And the basics of humanity was to treat people with love and respect. When we separated the feminine aspect of God from the masculine aspect and only decided to worship the masculine as power and ego and control, that's when we fell and we started to persecute others. Okay, that's where all this oppression and inequality comes from. And it's reminding us with Lilith in Libra and Saturn retrograde in Pisces, it's reminding us to reweave together, even though they may be stinging nettles, weave together the things that had been separated. Okay, so now we get to Peacekeeper as White Buffalo Woman. Let go of the need to be right. I'm going to read the whole thing. Usually I just pick half of it. Choose peace and happiness over the need to be right. Rather than trying to prove a point, save your energy for what's important. The Peacekeeper is a wise Native American woman who had been influenced by White Buffalo Woman. She holds a peace pipe, which is emblematic of surrendering the need to fight and offering harmony instead. She is a soul who knows what it's like to feel under threat and to stand up for what she believes in and what is right. Her medicine helps you to take the higher road in every situation, even if you're under pressure to make a quick decision. It's the reminder that within your hands lies the power to make the right choice for all involved. Again, the feeling of inclusion. You may be feeling on edge due to stressful situation. There is a warrior within you that wants to rise up, prove your point, and get the truth across. But you're being reminded by ancestor wisdom that truth will always be revealed in the end. It's more important at this time to avoid arguments or heated discussions where you know you'll be fighting a losing battle. Didn't we just have the battle card with the emperor on top of it? It's like this battle sometimes feels fruitless because we're fighting the very things that are trying to stay in control. And then here we have this feminine energy saying, be peaceful. It'll all come out in the end. There is much more power in choosing to move forward from a higher perspective. There's that hermit energy. This will allow you to connect deeply to the guidance within, that's the Hierophant, of the whole guidance within and the intuition that will lead you towards the healing of the whole situation, along with any wounds that it may have inflicted on you. That's that Eight of Pentacles with the stinging nettles fingers and the Ten of Swords where her fingers were cut off. Choose peace and know it is calling you. So that's what we've got for the Angels and Ancestors messages. And now I dropped some from the theme deck. And so we've got Broom, which is clean environment, new attitude. I feel like this is telling us we need to sweep away all the bullshit. We need to sweep away the garbage. We need to sweep away the things that we're walking on that are, just all kinds of crap falls to the floor. And there's a energy when the house is dirty, when your environment is cluttered. This is all like, I feel like this is partially mental clutter and things that we allowed to come in and find things that we gave a place to that we really didn't need to have there. It's all getting to be cluttered and so we're being told to just take a broom and sweep out all the old. A clean environment brings a new attitude. We're also being reminded that we are spirit. Okay? We're being told to connect, listen, know, ascend, and be still. Okay. We also dropped Neptune. Hello. Neptune is that's what's in opposition. Neptune is in Pisces right now, and it's in opposition to Lilith in Libra. So that is where all this feminine energy is coming in association with Saturn retrograde, also in Pisces. Okay, so it's really, really busy in Pisces right now. There is a lot of shifting of established religious, doctrinal, dogmatic law. Okay, and Neptune is telling us this. Neptune is telling us to tap into our higher intuition. This is psychic ability, dreams, imagination, and higher intuition. But in detriment, Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, also brings up delusion, paranoia, illusion, fears, things like that. Like imagination can become nightmares in a moment. And um, intuition and dreams can become delusions and paranoia, like mental illness in a moment too. They always say there's a fine line between genius and madness. Well, there's also with Pisces energy a fine line between mysticism and fanaticism, and that's what we're walking here. We're trying to walk back and go into true elevated mysticism, but so many people are walking the path of zealotry and fanaticism, and that's where this imbalance is coming from. Also, we have the Hanged Man, that's Pisces energy. Again, with Possum, he's saying to pause, reflect, reevaluate, get a fresh perspective, be peaceful and calm, and meditate. Again, Pisces energy. Pisces is really busy right now. We've got Neptune in Pisces in opposition to Lilith in Libra, and we've got Saturn retrograde in Pisces, just dragging up all that old religious bullshit. So it's like many of us on a soul level are just pulling back and reevaluating things. That is good energy. It's like reviewing before the test, and we all know that that test is coming in about 5 months. Here we've got the indecision card. Yeah, that's to be expected with a lot of the things that are going on right now. I feel, I just feel like though the indecision is the illusion. Nobody really, is there really people out there who don't know what they're supposed to, the truth they're supposed to walk? They really don't know what Jesus taught. They really don't know what true elevated spiritual connection means. Do they really, really think that it means exclusion and murder and torture and suffering and not feeding people and withdrawing health care? And, I mean, do they really, really think that that's a higher, elevated spiritual path? There's no indecision here. There's stubbornness and ego. That's what it is. I'm sorry, I'm getting heated. Now we have two angel number cards that fell. We've got 111, which is new beginnings. I love that. This is self-expression. Get your bearings in this new cycle. Okay? And that definitely the new cycle is this Saturn retrograde. That'll take us through to November, and then it'll go direct again through Pisces, but it's still going to be in Pisces for about another 2 years. That'll bring us to midterm elections. So even if we pull it out and we pass the test in November, this is still going to drag out for another 2 years, and in the midterm elections, it's like like what is it, midterm exams, then we really have to pass that test. So there's one more stage after that. The next card we've got for angel numbers is 777, Divine Path. It says you're right where you should be and you are serving your divine purpose. So, this is saying that everybody here that's walking their path right now, everyone that's alive right now, has a part to play in the new divine purpose. The divine purpose is to pull back and come back to basics, come back to, the doctrine, the divine law that is actually loving and elevating. That's what I have for everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Again, this was a long one. It was heavy. It was important. I am not expecting everybody to resonate with this. I am not expecting everybody to vibe with this. But I had to address Saturn retrograde, and I think that's probably the last time we'll have such a big exploration of it through the whole thing, unless it like starts aspecting other planets. So thank you so much for sticking with me, you guys. I hope that all made sense. I know I talk really fast and I stutter, and my notes were scribbled and everything. But thanks for sticking with me, and until I come back with the next reading, thank you, everyone. Goodbye.